this week's episode of Chasing the Whimsy. I'm your host, Ben, and I'm here with
Liam.
Hello, Liam. I am beyond excited to share that we are heading back to TESD town. Just over a year ago, we had an unforgettable time chatting with Jay Sarge, Ming Chen, and Brian Johnson, and now we're gearing up for round two. This time, there's another major player in TESD town joining us, and we couldn't be more thrilled. This guy is a true creative powerhouse. Not only is he an incredible podcaster, but he's also an insanely talented comic book artist. Stories by Brian Johnson, he drew iconic titles like War of the Undead, Carney, Cryptic Zookman, and many others. And let's not forget his legendary status in the View Askew universe. He has portrayed, if my count is correct, about 10 different characters. But seriously, who could forget the unforgettable Walt the Fanboy? Our first interaction with him was pretty unforgettable too. I ended up calling him while he was on vacation to get some store details. So naturally, our first impression was accidentally doxing him and Brian Johnson. Good times, right? I mean, we did get a shout out on episode 562. But beyond all of that, he is 1/3 of the magic that is the Tell 'em Steve Dave podcast. Across 631 episodes, he is the creative genius behind so many iconic segments we all know and love. One True Three, What's on the Menu, and of course, a massive chunk of the wild and hilarious holiday specials. He also has Patreon shows like the all-new Sunday Jeff Show, Tales from Behind the Fake Counter, Sunday Drive. This man is a fountain of creativity. So without further delay, I'm absolutely delighted to introduce today's guest, the one and only Walt Flanagan. How you doing today, Walt?
Hello. Thank you for having me.
This is a big day for us. We have now gotten 2 out of the 3 of Tell 'em Steve Dave. Do you remember me calling you, doxing you?
I kind of remember this now. Yes. The plaza where we have our studio gave out my phone number, right?
Yeah.
Yes. They do it
so,
quite often. You're not the only one. Don't feel bad. They still do it to this day.
It was fun. It was right around the beginning of our journey into podcasting. It happened about 2 weeks before we started officially podcasting. So our first episode was the doxing of Tell 'em Steve Dave. Liam and I'll give you a quick breakdown about Chasing the Whimsy.
Okay.
Can you see us at all?
I can, but I'm on my phone. It's very, very tiny.
No
I
worries.
see two like gremlins or gnomes.
Gnomes.
There you go. Yeah.
So we took the class with Ming Chen. He created the logo for us for the gnomes. But Liam and I have been listening to Tell 'em Steve Dave since he was like 3.
Oh, wow.
And he would be in the car and he would just pay attention a little bit, and then one day he's just like, "What's going on?" There's what was it? One of the bicentennial battles. They had a different theme song. Your intro was a little bit different, and he acknowledged like the intro was different. So he was like, "What is this?" I'm like, "This is Tell 'em Steve Dave." He's like, "That's not Tell 'em Steve Dave." So we've been following you I've been following you since you were on Smodcast. And then he's been following a little bit more, probably like 5 on. So for the last 10 years, he's been actively paying attention to everything that you guys have been doing.
Oh, well, thank you. You've been around quite a long time then, if you've been around since Smodcast.
When I first started listening to the podcast, it was you, Smodcast, and a couple of the other shows. And then over time, I just dropped podcasts. So I think Tell 'em Steve Dave and Kevin Smith's Fat Man Beyond are pretty much the only two podcasts that I follow. Oh, and obviously the Patreon stuff. But you guys are the only two podcasts that I follow anymore.
Also, I'm honored. But what's your podcast about? What do you guys normally talk about?
Liam, you want to?
Well, usually on Chasing the Whimsy, it goes from like doing games like how you guys do, um, hanging out with family, interviews. Because the main reason we started was because I'm only with my dad on Sundays, so I wanted to know more about this side of the family. So we would bring in family members, interview them, and talk about, I guess you can say, like the good old days. And we ended up branching off and just talking about who knows what. It's just a father and son podcast.
Nice.
It definitely has some. It definitely has a nod to Tell 'em Steve Dave a little bit, where you guys don't have a real specific topic, and it kind of
More free form.
there you go, free form. So I kind of come in and with a general idea, and I ask him for a couple of ideas, and then um, we just take it and we just run with it and just see what kind of magic comes up. Because listening to you guys, especially, you guys don't have a lot of structure. It's just three friends hanging out, and who knows what comes up or what happens. So um, we kind of wanted to. We liked the idea of a little bit more like honest and genuine, not so scripted.
No, yeah, definitely, yeah. And how old is Liam?
I'm almost 15, but I'm still currently 14.
Okay.
We got a 2-year anniversary coming up in July. We are at 108 episodes.
That is nothing to sneeze at. That very, very impressive. Congratulations.
Thank you. It's fun. Like you mentioned, so you probably can't see it, but I made a little book. I think I sent Brian Johnson a copy after we finished. But there's a lot of nods to Tell 'em Steve Dave within the universe of Whimsy. Because I look at everything you guys are like the Simpsons of Chasing the Whimsy. Like the Simpsons have done everything. Like kind of how Family Guy is always copying the Simpsons. Like we're not copying you, but there's definitely little nods to you guys every once in a while. Like when we come up with merch, different game ideas.
Making hay stuff.
We did do a making hay for our 100th episode.
Oh, where'd you guys go?
Before we even started podcasting, I recorded Liam and I in the car because I would take him to school in the morning, and he lives on the God forever away, so it's like an hour and 20-minute drive to get him to school. So we would record some conversations in the car. So we making hay a 2-year-old conversation of a 13-year-old boy, 12-year-old boy in the car, and it was just weird listening back to a 2-year-old conversation and just hearing how young he was. Like his voice was like super kiddish. I swore a lot. Like it's interesting to kind of go back and listen to those type of conversations that we would have in the car. So you've been doing Tell 'em Steve Day for 15 years. Did you ever think you would go 15 years?
Absolutely not. When we first started, there's no way that there was a vision or a plan that it would last, you know, 2 years, let alone 15 years. So I'm not sure what year you could say that you could honestly be like, yeah, I could see us doing it for over a decade, maybe by year 5. Then you kind of figure you settled in and you kind of had confidence that there was a listener base tuning in regularly and they had a bit of passion for it. So yeah, that's probably when you really think, because nobody really goes into it thinking, yeah, there's going to be people who will pay enough attention for 15 years to you talking. I mean, that's kind of insane to have that kind of aspirations when you're just Joe Blow.
Right. What's fascinating about Tell 'em Steve Dave is because you guys are so freeform. If you listen for 15 years, you get to see the character arcs of Brian Quinn, firefighter, into IJ, Brian Johnson into the reason why he started, into some of his problems and coming out, Mary Beth, and now where he is now. And then same with you. It's just awesome just watching your guys' entire character arc, and then it just keep going. Like, it's fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, some would call it a character arc. Um, I think it's more just like what everybody's life rode over the course of 15 years, though, like things are constantly changing, things are developing, some good, some bad, and you just you pick and choose what you want to say on mic about what's going on in your life, and
Right.
you allow people a window into it. Sometimes we allow the windows wide open, sometimes
Right.
it's not so wide open, and
Right.
that's more or it's more just like a lot can happen in 15 years, a lot changes, and nobody's life is the same as it was 15 years ago.
No, and it's great that you guys have been so open over the years to allow uh, us to see inside your world. And definitely, there's some moments where we can relate, and we don't feel so alone, or like it's just me. Like, it's interesting to see how all of you guys have different life issues, and that can kind of like foresee some of the things that are going to be coming up when I start turning
Yeah.
50.
Get
Um,
ready.
yeah. um, I'm 40. I'm 41. So I
Okay.
started this when I turned 40, and I was like, everybody's gonna die. And I'm like, I need to start recording these people. Liam's asking questions. We got to get these stories down. Uh, Half jokingly, but I did like the idea of capturing all these different stories that we have 107 stories now. And then I do 2 live streams. I got a 4-year-old daughter, and the idea that she's going to find these things one day is absolutely amazing.
So you want her to find it and listen to it. So yeah, your guys are going back and talking about and shining a light on your family
Yeah,
story. So yeah, see, I'm on the. I really, I would absolutely never want to hear that my daughters listen to it. I know. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, that would not make me
right.
happy.
That's actually funny because that I don't even know what episode it is, but when I was little, um, I was paying attention to TESD, and then one day he just handed me my iPad, and then there was Puppet Theater, and I already don't. You definitely did not remember, but he sent in what's the book called?
Oh, the one Pam did?
No, 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 no. The book I have signed.
Oh, Metro.
Metro. So what happened was we was in the car and we were watching it, and it was the scene where it was like my dad is there's kids saying my dad's all these great things, and then your daughters are saying
Mhm.
my dad's a comic book.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was for making hay. Yeah,
Yeah.
when my dad's not alive. Um, yeah, for sure. There's definitely some embarrassing stuff that we've done over the 107 episodes. Every once in a while, like, I'm real passionate about it because you guys have been really good, especially in the last 10 years of consistently putting out material. And then I'm sure your Patreon, you're like a machine, making sure something's coming out every Tuesday. So I'm the same way, where I'm like, we've never missed a drop yet on a Monday. So sometimes I have to record by myself. Liam calls me one day. He's like, "Are you doing okay?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "You sound depressed." I'm like, "I'm not depressed." He's like, "You sound." So we got a bunch of those out there where I got some sad dad episodes where I have to do them by myself. But you mentioned uh, your family. And I 100% respect and applaud you for keeping the Tell 'em Steve Dave and home life separate. And the idea that you can do that for 15 years is amazing. Um, I would like to congratulate you on being a grandfather soon.
Thank you. Thank you. Very
Um,
excited.
that was on the bonus episode of for Tim, the record store clerk. You guys did a benefit show
Yes.
for him.
Yes.
I love also that you guys have always, even since year one, Brian Johnson bought all the iPads for Sage's class. Like, you guys have always found a way to give back to your community.
We try. Yeah, we definitely are cognizant of how much the listeners have provided for us over the years, and we try then to give back when we can, and we will try to do things for people and help our friends, help strangers, help listeners. It's, we're very grateful for the support we have gotten, so we try to give some support back to people who need it, sometimes with a Christmas episode, sometimes benefit, sometimes multiple of things.
Yeah. TESD makes, the world takes. So Chasing the Whimsy last year donated $500 to a low income family school to kind of help for the holidays, make sure kids can get presents and things.
Right.
And then this year, I announced that we'll commit another 500 to them, and then Liam wants to donate another chunk of money to another charity. We're using our Patreon, patreon.com/Chasing the Whimsy, or patreon.com/Tell Steve Dave. But we're going to take a little bit from everybody's monthly and put it towards a charity. So, I like the idea of giving back to the community a little bit.
Yeah, it feels good. It makes you, there's something that can't be replicated any other way when you feel like you've helped somebody else out.
Right. It's good to spread that message. And, as a podcaster, it's like, well, what else can I do? And I think I'm pretty good at it. I'm getting better. And, this is a skill and an art to a certain extent. And if I'm good at it, I should try to use my platform to, spread the word a little bit.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Who also recently started an idea for a podcast with your daughter Alicia.
I did.
Are you guys going to continue that probably on the Patreon?
Yes. Yeah, we have reviewed 4 episodes of The Office so far. Only one's been released so far, but we got together over 2 nights and did 2 per night. And yeah, she likes The Office. I love The Office. So it's one of the few media content that we have in common. She doesn't like any of the things I like, and vice versa. The Office is one of the few things that we both have an affection for. So I just thought it'd be fun to try and see what happens. I don't know if people are going to be into it. I want to keep them short, like maybe 25 minutes, 30 minutes, because in reality, like episode 60 of The Office, I don't know what it is, but like how many people are really going to be on the edge of their seat invested in listening to us review a show by that point, which may be 15 years old.
Right. Does she like doing the podcast? Whose idea was it to come up with it?
It was mine.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know if you found this, and maybe I'm sure you do if you're interviewing family members who haven't been on mic before. You're like, she is so engaging. She has a real sense of humor, and I'm like, oh man, we should sit down. But as soon as I tell her, okay, the telephone's recording, then she doesn't. Then she just kind of clams up, and I'm like, all the things she was talking about so passionately about The Office, what she watched, it's hard to drag it out of her just because she realizes the phone is recording.
Right.
And that kind of like she's got to get over that hump of just kind of forgetting that the phone is recording.
Right. Well, I look forward to more episodes. I like there's a slightly different Walt because you've done a couple of projects with her doing some commercials. You did a Mystery Science Theater with both of your kids.
Yep, I did enjoy doing that, but that was she was given the line, so it's
Yeah,
basically like there's definitely a different Walt when I'm talking to my kids or my wife, and like I'm not as prone to blow up as I would if I'm talking to get them,
right.
or or I'm not as frustrated as if I'm trying to drag a story out of Sunday, Jeff.
What was it? He recently had an episode. He was on the iPod episode. That he was on fire that episode.
Who?
Like he was so good.
Sunday or get him?
Sunday,
Oh yeah, yeah. He's talking about music, man. That's what he loves. I mean,
right?
any man who has two iPods and maybe going on two and a half iPods of music, he must love music. He must love the art of the song.
You have a fantastic like the residents of Tell 'em Steve Dave Town are fantastic. The the theme song that you heard in the beginning was from Jay Sarge.
Oh, nice.
So he's got a podcast. He's been on a couple of times.
He's very, very talented man.
Very talented. So again, we take a lot of the things like just watching you guys for 15 years. It's kind of like um, I look back at some of the things that you're doing. Do you wish you would have recorded more video, like year one, year two?
In retrospect, yeah, I guess but you know what? It wouldn't have been the same though. I bet you the content would have been different. The 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 addition of a camera, I think, would have changed. At least for me, I bet you would have changed things, and how they came out. And so, yeah, you could say you wish you had a camera, but no, I think it all happened the way it should have happened. Camera was introduced when we got
Right,
the Patreon, so there's much more visual there. And no, sometimes I do, but for the most part, I kind of like, yeah, I don't know if it would have been that much more beneficial for us. It
right.
may have even hindered.
Detracted.
Yeah, it might have. I mean, you never know.
Well, yeah, because I'm doing a lot. I'm a crazy person right now. Like I'm recording. I got 2 podcasts per week and then 2 live streams every week. So I'm podcasting like Ming Chen circa 2009.
Yeah, Ming Chen doesn't have like he then people talk about him like he podcasts 24/7, but that's a long time ago. That Ming doesn't exist anymore.
Oh no, no, he doesn't. He probably, I don't even know if he still podcasts. He
I
jumps
don't
on every once in a while to his when he's doing an unboxing, but I'm just potting like a crazy person. I do some video. I try to keep the podcast mostly audio, but just the idea that 15 years from now, I would have some of these like old archive videos.
Yeah, well, oh, yeah, especially if you're doing it with your son, though, because
Yeah,
you get to see him grow from a teenager into a young man, and hopefully well beyond that as you guys continue to go. So yeah, that is a nice aspect
yeah.
to have some video to go along with it.
So speaking of Ming Chen, another thing that I really enjoyed was watching Comic Book Men during 2020 when it was COVID. I started listening to you guys more in the car, like not being on like an iPad or a tablet and just listening. And he showed me Comic Book Men, and I don't know about you, but me and my dad really, really miss Comic Book Men. Do you miss Comic Book Men at all?
As corny as it sounds, I miss some of the guys you guys never were even introduced to, guys who were behind the scenes, guys with a cameraman, who were all solid dudes who I absolutely. It took me a long time to warm up. It takes me a long time to warm up to anybody, but the camera guys, initially started Comic Book Man, I was very leery of reality TV and what they were going to try to get. How are they going to frame us? How are they going to make us look in terms of like how much and how much were they going to have access to us? So it took me a while to warm up to the whole aspect of comic book men, but when I did, it basically when it got canceled as soon as I was like, "Oh man, everybody's awesome. This is great," and then we got canceled. So and then everybody went their separate ways to go do a multitude of different television shows and projects. And some of those guys I haven't seen since that last day they left the set, and some guys, I've had some brief email correspondences with, but the one guy who even when he left, I didn't know that he would become such a good, great friend when Brian Nichelle, who was the showrunner, who I got along with great, but he was still the boss. So there was a kind of like, that's the boss. And it was only after the show ended that we became closer. And, I count him as a true close friend now. But that was like, he was, we were very friendly and we laughed and everything on set. But I think the friendship became stronger after the series got canceled, which he tells me never happens. Like, the guys that and the people he deals with, once the show ends, you never see him again.
Wow.
For, not because for any reason other than like, he has different projects. His life goes and takes him in different directions, and he just never comes into contact with those people again.
Right. How is it bringing him back for Behind the Fake Counter? That's the show you do on Patreon where you review every episode of Comic Book Men and give a bunch of behind the scenes details. Is it fun having him back?
He is the most well-prepared member of TESD Town that comes to mind. Maybe Frank Five. Frank Five also is a very prepared, take notes kind of guy. Come with a binder full of notes. Brian Nichelle is exactly the same way. You can count on him to be absolutely prepared for anything that he's involved in. And I said it on the podcast though that I didn't know him that well when when I had the idea of doing a review of every episode, and I wasn't sure if he was going to be like, no, I'm not interested in that, or I don't know. I just was kind of intimidated because of his just all in my head though his stature as a bigwig in his production company. So I was like, oh, he'll never want to do that. Why would he want to come and spend hours talking about this? I felt intimidated, so I was reluctant to ask him. I'm so glad I did because he's awesome. And but I felt that way, but in most cases though, I will feel that kind of reluctance to ask people to get involved unless I know them really well. Even Tim, the record store clerk, it took me years. I had the idea to do stuff with him, and I just never asked him because I'm like, nah, he won't want to do it. I was wrong, but it's that kind of feeling, getting over that awkwardness of putting yourself out there because I'm like, oh, he'll say no, and then I'll feel like a fool.
Right.
That's kind of what we felt like with you and Brian, in a way, right?
A little bit, because when we came up to episode 37, obviously we wanted to give a nod to Tell Me Steve Dave. So we had J Sarge, Ming Chen. We did his class, like he's always game. So it was this idea of like reaching out to try to round out the three episodes for 37. With Liam, and what's nice about doing it with the kids is this idea of like, if you want it, try. Worst case, Brian says no, but he was nice enough to reply back, and we talked to him for 45 minutes. A lot of it is weird because I do hesitate sometimes reaching out to a couple of people, but I think I'm at the point now where I'm like, worst case, they say no,
Or say nothing.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Patreon, we've already gone over a lot of things, but do you have like a certain thing that you've done TESD wise that's been your favorite? Because I like TESD, like I'm a nerd at heart, but I favor Puck Nuts because my family are Devils fans, and listening to you talk about football and hockey is it's my favorite thing to listen to. So do you have one that's like your favorite that you do?
Ooh, my favorite thing. That's tough. They all everything. If I'm going to do them, if like I schedule it and I plan it and I get it ready, almost I'm not going to do one that I don't like to do.
Right.
And the only so that's if it's coming out, it's because I like to do it. So, but puck nuts. The reason puck nuts doesn't even exist anymore is because there's two reasons. I don't think Jeff really watches sports on a regular basis anymore.
Right.
From the way I talked to him, he kind of doesn't have cable anymore, so he doesn't watch the Devils. And Ming Chen is just impossible to schedule.
Right.
And it is a absolute biatch to schedule him to do fake counter because he's never home.
No, he's not.
He's never home, so that's really why puck nuts kind of went away. I mean, I would love to have Ming more involved on the the Patreon side of things, but he's just not available as readily as some of the other guys. So if there's a lack of Ming Chen, it's only because the guy's never around. He's always at a con somewhere, and his windows are like, "Oh, are you around this week?" "Oh, I'm around Monday from 3 o'clock till 5 o'clock," and I'm like, "Oh, that's not going to work because nobody else is available around that time." So, but yeah, puck nuts. I wish we could do because I do. I mean, I could talk football and hockey, and you guys are Devils fans. What part of the country you live in?
um, Arizona.
Oh, okay, you guys aren't Coyotes fans.
Didn't they move to Utah?
That's right. Holy crap! Yeah, the Utah yeah, hockey club. I forgot.
Well, Rangers eat nuts.
Yeah,
Markstrom shut him out at home again for the second time this season.
yeah. Yesterday I was watching that game. I don't want to ever take for granted the NHL playoffs anymore because it has been a very dicey. The prospects of the playoffs for the Devils recently have not been all that great. There's only been maybe a handful of playoff appearances in the last decade, so it looks like they're going to make it this year.
Yeah.
I mean, they haven't locked up anything yet. There's still 7 games left. Anything can happen. I don't want to put the jinx on them, and they lose 7 in a row, and they don't make it. But they look like they are solidly in position to make the playoffs with a couple more wins. I think they'll clinch, but I don't even care if they don't win a round. It doesn't even matter. I just want to see some playoff hockey with the Devils, and
Because
so I'm just going to sit back and enjoy it, no matter who they play, no matter what happens. I'm just going to enjoy the fact that they're a part of the playoff uh, teams because, like I said, man, it has been a dry spell. I mean, they had a good run like 2 years ago, but before that, I mean, it was like the one playoff appearance in 10 years.
yeah, I mean it's been rough though because I was actually at the game where Jack Hughes got injured and in Vegas, and it was horrible because
I'm getting
I was
Golden
with
Knights.
yes, I was with my family, and we were on our phones just like refreshing, seeing what happened, and we're like out for the rest of the
Yeah.
season, and we're oh my gosh, it was the worst. But ever since Jack's gotten injured, though, Timo Meyer's heated up, so I think we're good there.
He has played very well, and the guy who I really have kind of overlooked and wondered wrongly too. I will say I was wrong, and I'm like, man, this guy just doesn't show up. Is Brat, but he really
Yeah,
has shown up. He really has proven me wrong, and he looks like a real solid player that I'm glad that they signed for long term. But Jack Hughes worries me, man. He just cannot stay healthy. He just doesn't have the frame, I think, to deal with the rigors of the NHL. It feels like, and I'm worried that we may never get a great version of Jack Hughes because of all the the punishment that he takes, as a smaller stature guy.
yeah.
I didn't understand a single thing you guys said. I'm Brian Johnson right now. I'm like, what? All right. So this is a more of so Brian Johnson mentioned it. You mentioned it a little while years ago. Do you consider yourself a podcaster still or at all?
I think the answer to that is when people who like strangers, or I'm in a situation where someone comes up to me and they go, "What do you do?" I don't even know what to say. So I can't honestly say I consider myself a podcaster, because if I have to struggle to find something to tell people whenever somebody goes, "What do you do?" and I don't come up with, if podcasting doesn't come up in the first like 20 things that pop into my head, yeah, I don't think I do consider myself a podcaster.
It's so weird that because like there's a certain reality, like, because on paper with your catalog, you would be a podcaster, but not even just that. Like, you're even a content creator for whatever that means. You come up with so many different shows and games across the regular show and Patreon. Um, where do you get some of these ideas for some of these shows that you do?
Man, it's just a lot of pulling from childhood, things that I remember from years ago, old game shows, old anything that I remember fondly. At this point, this many years in, when the stories have dried up, you
Yeah,
have to look for other things that you're like, what did I like growing up as a kid, or what do I remember? And so what do I remember fondly? What is something that I can talk about and not feel like there's going to be a lag, or like it's going to sag because my interest level will wane. So that's like, if like with Third Eye Radio with Dave Windorf, I'm like, well, he loves comics, I love comics, especially old comics.
yeah,
That's a no-brainer. Then it's like, now is it something that I think appeals to a whole bunch of people? No, I don't think people even know, like not even 90%. I think 90% of what we're talking about goes over everybody's head, but
right.
I enjoy talking about it. He enjoys talking about it, so I continue to do that one because it's so much fun to have somebody who's just as knowledgeable I am and just as passionate about I am about stuff that nobody on the planet cares about. And so I'll continue to do that one. Some other things, though, I realize I can't do that every week, though, because some people have to at least connect somewhat with what we're talking about. So
Right.
that's where we'll do. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what's another show that's on there that is very formulaic. I don't even know. I mean, Sunday Jeff Show feels like it's more. There's a theme for most episodes, but it's still kind of loosey goosey, though.
Yeah. Like Sunday Drive, it's you guys are I love I love listening to you and Jeff just driving. Um
Yeah,
when you guys were in the grocery store, like it was so much fun.
we got a lot of complaints about that episode.
And I like that you go out on location with Sunday Jeff, and you kind of just ride them every once in a while, and uh, like the idea that I love the idea that you're just retracing things that you did 30, 40 years ago. It is this amazing. I mean, I love the nostalgia
Right.
that you
Yeah.
have.
Well, I mean, we would like on the proper TSD. When we introduced Jeff, we would talk about his toy runs, and we would make them almost mythic.
Yes,
Build them up to propel them to heights that of like he was sailing these dangerous seas, conquering lands, but no, he was walking into toy stores and grabbing everything off the peg that he thought he could resell, and certainly not as sexy as Columbus, discovering America. But we would build them up to such heights. When the Patreon started, I was like, where can we go? Where, because I always thought, we should have recorded some of the conversations in the car because they were so funny. I was
right.
like, I'll do that. I'll record some of the conversations, but where can we go? And I was like, well, let's retrace his toy run and make it sound like we're retracing, Johnny Appleseed's journey across America planting trees.
Right.
So make it feel like it's bigger than it is. And some people, if you say it is it's huge and it's important, sometimes people will buy into it that it is, but it's not really not.
I love the Sunday Jeff lore, and that between the two of you, I don't know how accurate it is, but I'm sure that there's some validity to it, that you guys helped shut down Suncoast.
I don't think that we can be blamed for the demise of Suncoast. I think that came down to streaming and people just not buying DVDs anymore. Did we take advantage of some lax Suncoast protocols? Yes, but I refuse to believe that they could point to me and him as a real reason why they no longer are in business. No, I don't buy that.
No, I just I liked it when because that was the lore back in the day, was just Jeff, like they were because he would use your card, so they're looking for you, but they only got him.
Yes.
All right, so we're gonna round it. We're almost done, but you come up with a lot of games, and I'm trying to come up with games that aren't just straight like 1 through 3 or
right. It's hard, right? You feel like everything is a bastardized version of 1 through 3 at the end of the day.
So, listening to some of the Halloween episodes, we came up with a game called the Whimsy Gauntlet. We have a stack of cards with different questions on them, and the idea is that our guest would pick 7 cards at random, and then we would sort them from difficulty to hard. So some really easy questions, some softballs, and then maybe some really harder questions. So we're going to run you through our Whimsy Gauntlet real quick.
Okay. Now, what are these questions about? Halloween?
Nope. A little bit of everything. Just anything. But the Halloween episode, sorry. You tasked Brian and Quinn to, like, what was their most when you guys were doing the 7 circles of hell.
Oh, okay. All right. Gotcha.
So you gave them some hard questions, like what's the most embarrassing thing you've ever done? What's the most regrettable thing you've ever done? So those are going to be like the high level questions, but we're going to go slightly easy on you because it's still a family podcast. So I haven't come up with any really super hard ones. But we're going to run you through the gauntlet real quick.
Well, this is like what, the easiest level?
Easy level. They get harder as we go up.
Okay.
So what is a random sound / noise do you just love?
Oh, okay. So it's just not necessarily a right or wrong. It's just my own preference.
Yeah, get to know you a little bit.
Okay, I got it. It's easy. I love the sound of my French bulldog snoring. Cooper, my first French bulldog, or my current bulldog Teddy. There is something absolutely soothing and amazing about, especially, when the lights are out, you're watching TV, it'll make me fall asleep just listening to him snore.
You've always loved your dogs. And I love the idea that, because you always go to sleep later than your wife. So it's always the idea that you're sketching or you're watching some.
My wife goes to bed around 8:00 at night. So yeah, I stay up till about 3. So that's a long chunk of time, to keep yourself busy.
Right. It's just great. The idea that you guys are just cuddling up on the couch with your dog.
Yeah. I mean, that's what, it sucks that football's over. There's nothing better in the winter than putting on a football game and just laying on the couch with the dogs. I could do that for the rest of my life. That would be the perfect night.
That sounds great.
Did I get that one right?
Yeah. I love it. All right.
Did I get to go on to the next question?
You go on to the next. See, part of the idea was like they would get harder, and it would be what is there a question that you would tap out on and refuse to answer?
Oh,
Um,
there's probably 100 of them.
but we'll go to the second question. What
Okay.
one prop would you take from a movie?
Oh, this is like a comic book man question.
Right? Oh
Yeah.
yeah, a
Okay.
lot of them kind of come in that banter realm.
So, okay, so this means a prop that, so it doesn't really work. Like I couldn't say like Thor's hammer. It's just a prop to display. It's not a working Thor hammer, right?
You know what? I got in trouble because I asked Jay Sarge that question, and they both yelled at me. They were because Liam wanted the Infinity Gauntlet.
And I was like, why is it not like you can't have it in real life? That's dumb. Why would you just have a prop? It wouldn't be like the actual movie, the thing in the movie.
So I guess it would be however you interpret the question.
When you said prop, my mind goes immediately to like it's the piece that an actor wore. So it doesn't have any special abilities. It's just the thing that, gosh, okay, man, my favorite movies are not, I don't know if they're prop heavy. Uh I guess that I guess a lightsaber. I guess Luke's lightsaber. I'm not even a Star Wars guy, but that's the first thing that came to mind.
I mean, that would be a cool one, to be fair.
Yeah.
It'd be worth a lot of money, though.
When you look at, do you still walk around and look at collectibles and toys and kind of put a price tag on it and what you could sell it for?
Yeah, yeah, I still do that. I mean, I do like, especially when the weather's nicer, I'll go to flea markets and stuff, and sometimes I'll see stuff and I'm like, oh man, I could flip that. I could have flipped that. I could have flipped that. And but I'm like, yeah, I'm not in the flipping game no more, so I don't buy it.
All right, Liam's got the next question for you.
This one's interesting. If you were a rock, where would you be located and why?
Oh, you made this up? That's a really good question.
To be fair, I probably Googled most of these.
Okay. If I was a rock, I guess that's a great question because I want to be on the top of a mountain somewhere where no one's, walking over me, or I'm kind of in a seclusion, or would I want to be in a city park where there's a lot of people? Wow. I guess I would want to be somewhere not on Everest or anything. That's too much traffic up there. But one of those giant mountains.
All right.
Not Everest though. Maybe Kalamajuru.
Fuji?
No, what?
All right, Fuji. Yeah,
Kilimanjaro. Yes.
Kilimanjaro. Yeah, that's where. Maybe right there, because I don't want anybody like on Everest. Like people drop dead and they just leave you up there. So I wouldn't want to have someone just like drop dead next to me. And
Well, you had the recent episode where they realized that there's like a ton of crap up there,
yeah,
like
exactly.
like a bunch of human waste. I like the idea of being a rock like near like a lake that I can be skipped. But then after I get skipped, I'm sitting at the bottom of a lake.
Oh, so you consider yourself like a rock that could be actually thrown.
Yeah, but I think
Oh, okay.
what sucks is I can be thrown once.
Yeah. And then you sink to the bottom of the pond. Yeah, I could say, you know what? In my head, I saw myself as a rock that would just be, it's so big that it can't be moved. It's there forever.
Right.
No one's picking it up and throwing it. It's interesting. What a great question.
I
Can
like
I
the
steal
idea.
that?
But yeah, please. Oh,
Okay.
you can steal. I got one more small bit before we go. You're more than welcome to steal anything you got from here. Absolutely. Okay. If you could have one useless superpower, what would it be?
Well, as a comic book guy, I don't know if there are any useless superpowers. I mean, there has to be a use for it. But if I could have one superpower, useless though.
One that other co-host Megan came up with was her superpower was she always knew where the remote was.
Who said that?
We have another co-host that fills in when
That
Liam's
is
not here.
that is such a smart, intelligent answer. Last night, I spent over 45 minutes looking for the remote. I was absolutely driving myself bonkers. And if somebody said, I'll give you the superpower to find the remote. And yeah, last night I would have taken it without a hesitation, but at a moment's hesitation, I was that frustrated looking for the remote. That is a great answer. The remote. Yeah, I would take that. Yeah, I know I know you don't want. I know you wanted something original and snappy and not the same answer, but by God, last night I would have given anything to find the remote.
I like it.
This is I think this one's a harder one. If you could know an answer to any question, what would the answer be?
Or
Like, what would you know?
What would I know? What happens to us after we perish?
Oh.
Is that too deep?
Nope.
No, not at all.
Because right now, yeah, because you're always kind of on the fence. Like you like the idea of like if you were going to live forever. I like the years ago you were like I'd live forever, and then Quinn's like, well, everything's going to eventually just blow up and you'd be floating through space, and you're like, fine. If you were a ghost, who and where would you haunt?
I would haunt Sunday Jeff.
Nice.
Because I can push his buttons. Like if I'm going to be a ghost, I got to do it forever. I want to be able to at least giggle and laugh for eternity. But I guess, well, wait a minute. I guess if I'm haunting him, he's still around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still going to go Sunday.
All right.
Yeah.
And then the last one.
What would your worst Groundhog's Day be?
Worst Groundhog's Day.
With the caveat, no death, no tragedy. So we're not asking you to relieve anybody's death or 9/11. Just the day you lost the remote.
Yeah. My worst Groundhog's Day. I guess we can't use this the Sandy, the flood of 2012. So it's got to be worst groundhogs. So maybe the day I suggested that Mike and Ming pod him, they became I Sell Comics.
You are responsible for that. Just every day you know that it's going to come, keep coming, and you're like, every day you hear the same podcast by those two.
Yeah.
On episode 628, I forget what the title was, but you guys you're running out of, like, a lot of your stores are drying up. And there was this discussion of maybe you guys can make up or exaggerate your stories, right? So Quinn even said that the new tagline for TESD would be TS or Tell 'em Steve Dave can't be offensive, but it can be untrue. So I have a very small story. You're welcome to change it a little bit, tweak it to yours. But years ago, when Lane was about 5, I just got a new car, and Lane was like, "Let's just go for a ride." So we jumped in the car, and we were just driving. And I was like, "Do you know what? Let's just go north. There's a rest stop called Cordish Junction." So I'm like, maybe we'll just go up there. It's like half hour away, and then we'll just come home, just so we can try out the new car. So as we're driving, he's playing with all the buttons and the AC, moving his chair back and forth so he can figure out where he likes his chair positioned. As we get closer to Cordish Junction, we see a guy carrying a huge bag, like hitchhiking. And when we're about 3 miles from Cordish Junction. So as I drive, William's like, "We should pick that guy up." And I'm like, "We don't pick up hitchhikers." He's like, "Come on, let's be nice. Let's pick this." So I pull over, I pop the trunk, tell the guy, "Throw your bag in the trunk, and we'll take you to Cordish Junction. It's 3 minutes away." So the guy takes his bag, throws it in the trunk of the car, and like the whole car moves. Like there's like a big bang, car moves. Liam and I are like, what is going on? What was in that bag? So before he gets in the car, I roll down the window and I'm like, hey guy, what was in that bag? And he's like, none of your fucking business. And I freaked out and we just drove off. We drove 3 miles, we got to Cordish Junction and instantly turned around and we just drove home. And we didn't see him when we drove back. We get home, we lock the doors, we turn off all the lights, and we kind of just like sat and reflected on how we almost picked up a hitchhiker. And it was like the weirdest, craziest thing that we've ever done.
Well, wait a
Yeah.
second. Wait a
Yeah.
second. Is that done? Is that done?
Yeah.
Okay, so I thought you did pick him up. You didn't pick him up,
No, he threw the bag in the trunk and we just left.
but the bag was still in the trunk.
Yeah.
What was in the bag?
None of your fucking business.
Oh, it's good. Pretty good.
I've been holding on to that story for years. When you guys did the episode, the Christmas episode, where you guys came up with your own characters, Father Blood, the Tongue Louse, and the German Saint. I wanted to submit that because you could do it with a Santa Claus, like a Santa Claus threw the bag in, and then the punchline at the end is none of your fucking business. But you are absolutely welcome to use that for some content. If you need to tell the boys a story, because I think they're in Key West right now, right?
Yeah.
So you're welcome to use it. You mentioned a 1 True 3 tournament coming up, maybe.
Yes.
So maybe that could be one of your fake stories. I don't know. Be careful. Ming Chen has technically heard it, but he's never going to do anything with that story.
Okay.
So you are welcome. Because I think you can reel everybody in.
I
And then,
promise you, I will use it.
And
so
a rock question.
and the rock question.
Get the rock question. Both.
So, but we are just out at an hour. I appreciate you so much for coming on and hanging out with us today. You and Brian and Quinn, huge inspirations for what we would like our podcast to feel like, inviting people into our lives, having fun, and just enjoying each other's company, the longevity, you guys are definitely an inspiration for what a podcast could and should be.
Oh, thank you.
You're real. You're not playing to a certain audience. You're not like when you guys are trying to get the kid audience. You guys have just stayed true to yourselves. So I hope that we can continue staying true to ourselves as we jump into year 2, year 3. If we make it to 15, you come back on?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, but much continued success. It is really sweet to have a father-son, podcast. I can't say enough about how impressive it is to get over 100 episodes ready, though.
It's been fun. I didn't. Well, it was funny because Liam never thought I was good this long because he started school. He's a high school wrestler, so he's doing his own thing because he's 14. So he doesn't want to hang out with dad all the time, and he totally thought I was just going to bail out. And the fact that I'm still doing it, and then adding on 2 live streams and an extra podcast, he's like, I don't know what you're doing anymore. I'm like, I'm just doing so much. But it's been a lot of fun, and definitely thank you. Tell Brian Quinn, hey, what are the chances, like in the next 3 years, that we ever get a Brian Quinn on our show?
Well, you see how readily available he is on Patreon content,
Right?
Okay, you'll take that. And if I can't get him to come on Patreon content, I don't know what the odds are that you guys he's going to find time for you guys. I don't mean that. I mean, I ask him to do stuff constantly.
Right.
I don't even get an answer back. So sometimes You just got to plow ahead and go with plan B,
right?
which maybe should be
Sunday Jeff.
Sunday Jeff. There you go.
Oh, I'll get a Sunday Jeff in here. But yes, thank you so much for.
Thank you. It was a pleasure, an honor, and much continued success with your guys' work. And appreciate you having me on.
Definitely.
Whimsy.